Most men fear this one thing more than anything else. They fear this one thing. It's not rejection. It's not losing money, anything like that. It's vulnerability. Vulnerability. So tonight we're talking about men's biggest fear isn't death. It's this. So let's get into it. Get into it. All right, we are back once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Man Talk Mondays. I'm Derek, the Thought Engineer, here with my man, comedian John Yogi.
What up? I said, what up?
Y'all let him know what's up.
What's up?
Let him know what's up. So don't forget, make sure you get in there. You like, you share, you subscribe, right? Make sure you go ahead and do that, right? So we're talking about tonight, men's biggest fear isn't death, it's this. So gonna get into the conversation, but before we do, let me remind everybody, this is Man Talk Mondays. It's an open forum where we give you the rational realities of relationships. So of course, we're coming from a man's perspective. Now keep in mind, this conversation isn't just for men. We want everybody to join in. How you do this, go into the comment section, leave your comment, leave your question. We can see it. And this is how you chat with us. But by all means, we want to hear from you, right? So don't forget, like I said, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Men's biggest fear isn't death, it's this. We're talking about vulnerability for men. We're talking about that tonight. But we want to show a quick video before we get into the conversation. So, Mr. Producer, if you could cue that up for us.
What do you wish more women knew about how men operated?
There's 10,000 times more going on inside the head of a man than you have any idea. He's carrying burdens that you don't have a clue about. And he don't know how to express them. And he don't know what to do about it. And he figures if he puts it out there and communicates it, he's just going to be shot down, called a fool, called weak. So he carries it inside. And you have no clue the burdens and the hell that most men are carrying inside and not even showing you. I wish more women understood that.
What?
It's the music for me.
The music took you down.
Why?
But what you think about what he said?
He's right on. He's right on. That's what really makes it difficult, because he's right on. And there isn't, and oftentimes when I'm going through a lot in my head, I say, and my wife would do something, and I say, maybe, just maybe, let me try to let her into where I am and what's going on in my head. And yeah. I get the blankest look on her face, like, oh my goodness.
So you've tried to open up before. You tried to be vulnerable.
I tried this today.
You tried it today?
I tried it today.
Oh wow.
And and so I say, well, so what do you think? And I got silence, and I got her trying to figure out from a woman's perspective how to deal with all of the stuff that I just laid out for you.
Oh wow. Wow. And it's like we don't have the outlets. But talking about vulnerability, what does vulnerability even look like for men? What is it? What do you feel like vulnerability looks like?
Able to be naked. Able to hide behind whatever insecurities, whatever fears I have, and be completely honest about everything, all the things that are going on in my head, all the things I'm wrestling with, all the things I'm trying to keep together, all the things. And I think that's trying to find a place to where you can do that. See, that's the most difficult thing, because I think we all can agree most men are men. Well, and that this what makes us men and not women, supposedly.
Yeah.
Man, no, it's I think being able to be naked.
So the guy said in the video, he said most men are carrying around 10,000 things in their head at a time. At a time.
At least.
Is that just how it is, or is that actually something that's detrimental for us as men?
It's supposed to be that way, though.
You feel like it's supposed to be that way?
I think we are supposed to be I think that's a part of the responsibility that we have as men. And I think I don't think we talk about it or we point out, hey, this is what makes men great. This is why you need men. Because women can't do that, but men this is what we are put here to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So we built for, we're more durable in I'm not going to say the emotional stuff. We're more durable in the life coming at you type stuff. You feel like
I think that's what we're built for. We're not only are we built for it, but we built for it and able to put everybody behind us while we're going through it and letting everybody putting the family behind you and say, okay, we're good. We'll be all right.
You take it for the team.
Oh,
take it for the team.
I know what it looks like, but we'll be fine.
But what about what people say, women are the ones that take it for the team more than anybody else. You think that's true?
I think everybody has a position to play. And I think oftentimes, man, you're always trying to set me up.
No, why you think about that? Let me get Christina. Christina said, welcome to being a human. What do you mean by welcome to being a human? Are you talking about just going through this taking the hits of life? I mean, because I can see that. I can see you saying that's just the human condition. But when it comes to especially relationships and family, is the man really, is it his responsibility to just shoulder more and take on more for the sake of the betterment of his family? And in doing so, is he just supposed to suck it up and keep moving?
Yes. That men have broad shoulders, not to lift weights, but to lift up our issues and problems to hold up with.
To hold up the family.
That's why we have broad shoulders.
Okay. So is society kind of responsible for just the whole narrative? She says we all have a million things happening in our head.
And see, let me say this. And you know what? She's right. But she's not supposed to.
Wow.
Okay. Let me explain this.
Okay, break it down.
Because I deal with this with my wife.
Okay.
My wife tells me, she said, "Oh, you don't understand. I got a million things going on in your head." And I'm like, "So what's going on in your head?" As she began to tell me what's going on in her head, probably a third of the stuff she's telling me is going on in her head is going on in my head. It's not supposed to be going on in her head. But now, if you want to have control, or you don't like the way I'm doing it, now you doing it to the detriment of you and your peace, because that's what I got. That's my job.
Wow.
And I hate to be like that about it, but most of the time, everybody don't supposed to walk around with too many things in their head. That is a sign to us. We got that. What are you doing with that coat on? Take that coat off. Take that coat off. That coat don't fit you. Take that coat off. I'm so serious, man. I'm so serious.
And I'm wondering, because what I hear, especially on social media and the whole narrative with, women got to do everything. They got to take on everything.
Women got to cook.
They got to
cook. And they got to get in their bedroom and do what they're supposed to do. That's the only thing women got to do. That's the only thing they got to do. And they don't want to do that. See, this what bothers me.
Yeah.
We can find everything to do, but what we supposed to be doing.
Wow.
It's too much sexless marriages going on where you're worried about everything else. You have a job. Everybody has a job. You know what makes a championship team?
What's that?
Everybody, role players.
Everybody
know what their role is in the situations, man. And the problem with too many marriages and relationships is people don't know what their role is.
Yeah. And to your point, and not to use sports analogies, because women know sports. I'm not going to even be like that. Women don't understand sports. I say y'all don't know sports. I remember when the Mavericks won the championship. That year they won a championship. They played Miami. When they played Oklahoma.
Okay.
Right. And I remember them playing Oklahoma, and not even then, but when Oklahoma went to the championship and they played Miami, there was a struggle between Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, because it was this battle for who is the real leader of the team. And Kevin Durant was supposed to be the established one, but Russell Westbrook was trying to make, and I really think that was one of the things that lost them that series, because when it came down to it, in heavy conflict, the lines have to be drawn and they have to be clear. When there's no heavy conflict, there's really no need to, people can kind of just back and forth play around. But when there's heavy conflict, when you're taking on some heavy, the lines really need to be drawn as to who is really responsible for carrying it. And I think that's really what lost them when LeBron them played the Mavericks when they won.
But I think the problem in those two instances was the leader wasn't established. It was assumed. Because
what's the difference? What's the difference between that though? Established and assumed. What's the difference? I like where you're going with that, but what's the difference?
Because there needs to be no doubt on anybody's mind on that team who the leader is and where leadership is supposed to come from.
Yeah.
And see, I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
Now, a leader leads the team, but leadership can come from anybody. And I think that's what's confusing. That's what confuses a lot of times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because leadership can come from everybody. Now, oh, maybe I should be leading. No.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. We'll get back to that in a second. Christina says, so basically you haven't helped release her of that burden, release that burden from her.
So if you keep walking over to pick up something, I keep having you put down. At what point is it not my fault? No. At what point is it not my issue, but yours? You keep picking it up. You keep picking up something that you're not supposed to pick up.
Wow. Dr. Selena says, John, when you say supposed to, clarify, roles are not specific to gender, but to the makeup of an individual's relationships.
Get in there and get in that bed and make them covers bubble. Get in there. Listen, one of the reasons why it's so important that people know their roles is because it's important that we have peace in places. Peace in places. We have to have peace at the house, and we have to have exceptional peace in the bedroom, because we are the 20 million things we carry. We have to recharge, recoup, and refresh. So it's important that our wives know they role so we can do what we need to do. But too many times they trying to do what we doing, and I need you. If you know what you're supposed to do, well, get in there. I'll be in there in a minute. I can't get refreshed or recoup because you with me, and I don't need you with me.
So where does that? Well, let me say this first, because people think leadership is about directing. It's really more about responsibility, and you can't fully be a leader if you're not going to fully be responsible. You can't direct, and then once your directions don't work out, you can throw it back somewhere else. That's not leadership. It's about who's going to be responsible for what happens, even the fallout, who's going to be responsible for it. But the question is there a issue that we have with trust when it comes to this? Because if women are not trusting us to carry the whole thing, and we're not trusting them with our emotions and stuff,
we trust what we can see.
Oh,
and that's the problem with everybody. If you don't look like you doing it right, maybe I need to help. If you don't look like, I can't see it, and for the most part, people are controlling way more so.
People are,
way more so than people lead off. I never knew people were everybody.
Yeah.
People are controlling because they don't trust. They don't trust nothing. So if I got my hands in it, at least I can make sure it goes the way that I think it should be going.
And that's fine in everyday society, but when it comes to relationships, there has to be some level there. Christina says, every woman dreams of someone else taking the wheel, but you're not dependable. You haven't.
Stop. Yeah, but you gonna tell me how I'm driving the whole time I got the wheel? You can take the wheel back.
Yeah.
You don't want nobody to take the wheel. You want somebody you can tell what to do it like you want them to do it. Christina,
Yeah.
come on now. Like, hey, I'm gonna keep it a bug with you. You know, because you don't want nobody to take the wheel. You want somebody to do it like you think they should do it. And the minute that they don't, you're gonna have something to say about it.
Oh, she says you haven't shown yourself capable. That's a dangerous spot for a woman to be in. And you absolutely right. You absolutely right. It is a dangerous spot for a woman to be in. But at the same time, number one, you chose that person. Number two, did you choose him based on his capabilities, or did you choose him on his aesthetics? So a lot of people choose on aesthetics and not capabilities. And capabilities is really under pressure. Who are you?
You know, what's really funny about that is I don't think no one is under more pressure in relationships than men are. We are held to such a standard of, which, like she said, well, maybe you hadn't shown yourself to where you can do it. I've never heard a man say to another man, well, maybe your wife hadn't showed that she was ready to be a wife or that she was wife for material. I ain't never heard a man say that because we don't do that. It's a
conversation that needs to be had
because we don't do that. Everybody's so busy trying to tell us how to be a man. Tell us what we should be doing,
and none of the resources are reliable.
What makes a man great is having a woman that knows her role and how she's supposed to live and undergird that man. Nobody wants to do that because you're too busy trying to get in front of him.
Yeah. Because there is no neutral position. Either a woman is going to be your greatest asset or she's going to be your greatest downfall. I don't think there's a neutral position in it.
No, it's not.
That's just my personal opinion. But how does society condition us to avoid being emotionally available, emotionally open?
How do they condition us to be emotionally available?
Emotionally unavailable, not be emotionally available. How do they condition us? What kind of rhetoric do we throw out there? All right. So Christina on one. She said both matter. She said, don't let them gaslight you to thinking they don't both matter. You need to be fine and capable.
Capable of what?
I guarantee you the capable is way more important than the fine. Because here's the thing about it. Fine is very common when you see it every day. You gonna get to a point to where that person, they was fine at first. It did it for you. But when you see them all the time, it becomes common. So what you got to go on then? Then it's just about how they look to other people because you don't see them the same way. So after that, after you get past that, then what you got? I think the capable is way more important. I don't know what you think.
Well, I agree. I think the capable is way more important, but as we notice, we talk about it all the time. We're not that concerned about it at the beginning.
Right.
We marry on what he could be or the potential of some of the people. And then when that potential don't, it's up to each one of us in the relationship to help the other one develop the potential of the husband or the wife. And I think that's where the mix up is. Like she said, I can't get over you hadn't shown yourself. I'm like, we've been rocking this thing for a minute.
Yeah.
And at some point, you gotta let go of the reins. Either I'm gonna do it or I'm not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whether you picking all that stuff up or not, it's not. Just stop and take a look at where you at.
Yeah.
Are we not? Have we not arrived at the destination that you think we should be? Because more times than not, you have. But we are so accustomed again, man, to picking up, being over and stuff. See, because you know why I have to tell you about what's going on with me? I'm trying to convince you to stop.
Wow.
If we want to keep it a buck, I gotta tell you, hey, listen.
Yeah.
You adding to what I'm going through. I need you to stop.
Wow.
I can't cover you if you keep taking your behind out of the yard. Stay in the yard.
Wow. Let me get Mikhail. Mikhail says, You are correct. Men are held to a higher accountability. The roles in a relationship should be clearly stated in the beginning. Most don't have the conversation when first starting out. No, they don't. They don't have that conversation because we've been duped by society to where everything's fluid, roles are fluid, genders are fluid, and all this kind of stuff. And no, I'm not a proponent of that because when things are happening, when everything is fine, it don't matter. But when things are happening, it needs to be clear. Who's doing what, who's holding what. And if you believe in God, then you understand he's a God of design, and he designed us for a certain, you know what I'm saying, roles, responsibility. He designed us for it. And if you don't believe that, you don't follow that, then the consequences will play out eventually.
We believe God for everything.
For everything else.
For everything else but that.
Right. What do you say, or how do you feel about, what do we tell little boys about when they don't cry? Don't cry. Do you feel like we should or we shouldn't?
Knowing what I know now, see, man, it's so difficult because if I let you cry now, I'm gonna turn around and you're gonna be crying all the time. If I allow you to cry, that crying is gonna become a crutch for you. And every time I turn around, when things ain't going your way, I'm gonna see you tuning up to cry.
I can see that. If the crying accomplishes what I wanted to accomplish the first time, if the crying is going to relieve me of responsibility, if the crying is going to get the pressure off me, then I'll cry. But if I cry and you still hold me to taking care of what I'm supposed to take care of, then, I'll let you have your moment, but okay, now that's what we're going to do. What we're going to do. I think it's not
right.
whether
You're right.
A boy should cry or shouldn't cry. It's how to. I don't think we're taught how to. And so it's an either or when there's a way to do it. Because is it realistic to tell boys and tell men, you just got to shove it down. Don't let it out.
That's not really. That's
not realistic.
It's not healthy either.
It's not healthy. Christina says, men need to learn to regulate that emotion. Or boys. Right. Who did they learn it from, though? And here's where not having a man around is so detrimental.
Yeah, true. You're right.
It's so detrimental. They talk about young men today, and they're overly emotional. And when they trace it back to the house, most of them come out of a single parent home. And guess who that parent is?
It's mama.
Because that's where you see emotion. Not that men don't have emotions, is how do you process that? And I think this is why you need men present, especially around for young boys. Remember when Caleb Williams, quarterback for Chicago,
when he went over to his mama and cried.
When he was at USC, he lost the game. He went over to his mama and got basically in her arms and cried. And who was the first person to rip him?
Women was probably.
The woman on ESPN ripped him a new one and says he needs to lose his draft status. No team should take him and all this because he cried. So when we look at stuff like that, this young man has a vulnerable moment in front of the cameras. A woman on ESPN comes and rips him one for crying to his mom because he lost the game. What message does that send to the rest of the men about being emotionally available and being open emotionally?
I remember KD had lost when he lost to LeBron them in the finals. He cried to his mom on the walked over it. But now she kind of set him up though.
She set him up.
See how she set him up. So after they lost, she was standing there looking at him like this. He was talking to people. She was standing there looking at him like this.
Oh no, not the arms open. No.
Over the arms of. Over the arm to
Not the open arm. Mama, no.
He looked across the arm and said, I'm like, no,
Mama, no. Mama, no.
And he started bawling.
Yeah, because you weigh that against going back to what we're talking about men needing to be there to show a young man or a boy how to process the emotion to where it doesn't stop you.
Yeah.
Every quarterback who has won the Super Bowl, that stat just blows my mind. Every quarterback that's won the Super Bowl.
They got man.
Every quarterback, they all have one thing in common. They all had a present father.
Dude,
Jalen Hurts, who was the first person out there when he won that Super Bowl?
Was his dad?
It was his daddy. Him and his daddy looking at each other like, bruh, like you know what's up.
But see, this is the thing. And we talk about this. So whether or not women can hold that. There's nothing like a man seeing his mom taking on stuff in the house that's meant for somebody else, and your mama got it. Just think about we talk about roles and position that people need to play, but there's nothing like a boy watching his mom juggling all those hats and things she's not supposed to be doing. You'll never stop seeing your mama cry and complain about not enough money, what she can't do it. And it as a kid coming up, I was right there with my mom. It tears you up inside to see that. Yeah,
you so close to it
because you're not
because they not holding it for the bedroom.
You're not supposed to see it. It's, as a child, you're not supposed to go through it. Because you're going through it with them.
It messes with your peace, man. It messes with your peace. I tell people, I remember the first time I realized my mom was sick. My mom was diabetic, and she had a battle with it from when I was a kid, even up till she passed it when I was 19. And the first time she had an episode where her blood sugar dropped, when you get delirious and everything, and she was frantic, running. And my sisters were gone. I was the only one at the house, and it shook me. Because she was my picture of covering, strength, and everything like that. And when that happened, even, that was something that affected me even into adulthood. I never felt safe. I never felt that safety. So feeling like you can open up, feeling like you can be vulnerable when society is constantly putting out messages that you're going to get punished, you're going to get slapped. Your hand gonna get slapped if you go there. It doesn't serve us well.
It doesn't serve us well. But man, as you're talking about, I think one of the things I keep thinking about is how are we supposed to learn to be the men that we're supposed to be when we don't have great examples of it. We don't have enough examples of it.
Wow.
I think that's why it's so easy for us to run out on families and have kids all over the place because we don't have to be present because majority of us. That's what we used to.
Yeah. Selena said, these men don't have fathers. And it is as much as people try to throw the narrative about who's most important.
Oh, it's hands down.
That man being there is, oh man. Mikhail says, fathers are an integral part of helping young men regulate their emotions. The fact that single mothers try to raise men is a hard thing when trying to assist young men with regulating their emotions when women are naturally emotional creatures. Yeah, because you pattern yourself after what you see. It ain't what she's saying, it's what you see that you end up patterning yourself behind.
Someone asked, there was a guy that asked the other day, he said, most of the time women are smarter than men. Most of the time. He says, so why is it that men need to be leading? And it shook me. I said, because my wife is plenty book smart. I am plenty not. So I was trying to, and I'm wrestling with this. Okay, so why? And then it dawned on me. She's emotional. She thinks her emotions drive her, and I'm not driven by that.
And let me say this caveat to that: smart does not equal wise. And that's some people fail to understand. You got plenty of smart people. It don't mean you wise though. You got doctors and stuff that that go and they have behavior that's destructive. It's like, why would you, knowing what this will do to you, you do all the studying, you know, but you still, that's not wise. So smart doesn't equal wise a lot of times. We credit people for being wise, for being smart. We think people that make all A's, oh, you must got life figured out. No, they don't. Them the ones end up working for the ones that we think played around.
Yeah.
Right. The ones that seem to be goofing off and doing all this stuff, but they learn social cues. They learn all this type of stuff that gives them wisdom in dealing with people. And so those are the ones that end up running the companies, while the ones that made straight A's are sitting behind the desk working for them. So that emotional regulation, because what happens when men just force that stuff down? What happens when we don't let it out, or we have no outlet?
That's where the health issues and problems come from. That's why we die earlier.
Oh, wow.
Because we don't have an opportunity to let it out like we're supposed to. I mean, it's funny when you're young, you think, no big deal. But when you get older, you see, I need an avenue to let this out.
Yeah, need an outlet.
Yes,
need some type of outlet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I want to know, is it safe? Let me get a Fia. Fia says, right, like doctors who smoke in front of the emergency room. Right. You know, smoking ain't good for you. So being smart is not necessarily the mark. It's being wise. And you can have people that everybody consider a fool, but they wise because they don't have all of the social markers that would say that you know, but they could be progressing and being quiet about it. Right. So talking about moving on, is it safe? Is it safe for men to be vulnerable? Is it safe? Got another video on the show real quick with a man having a moment. He was having a moment, and I just want you to check the response his wife gives him. All right, we're talking about, is it safe for men to be vulnerable? All right. So
a long time ago, but it's like 40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone. Does that make sense? This is what's left.
Back it up. All right.
Hey, what are you doing? I came out to check on you.
Huh?
What are you doing? Thought you were working.
I'm looking at this.
What is it?
It's wire. It's a spool of wire. And I'm almost out of it. Can you see the spool of wire?
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost out of it.
Okay.
And I've had this spool of wire for like 40 years. I bought it like this it's not a piece of a long time ago, but it's like 40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone. Does that make sense? This is what's left. Does that make sense?
Sorry to hear that, and sad for you, but you're wearing your Jets hat, and I'm a little concerned right now that you're wearing your Jets hat. I thought that's why you were crying.
Okay, I'm done.
They are pretty terrible, though.
Wow.
She wasn't listening to what he was saying. Number one. And when she came out, she said, I thought you were working. So I looked and saw you wasn't working. So let me come out. That's what she said. Why you not? Well, first of all, why you not working?
That's because I hadn't, you know what? I looked at that, but I didn't pay attention to that's why she came out there.
She came out
because he was working. Then he stopped.
He stopped. Wait, why are you stopping? I need you to get back to working. Why are you not working?
Why do you think she didn't? I'm not gonna say she didn't care. She didn't catch.
She didn't come to listen.
Wow. So she sees her husband sitting down. He was working. He sits down. He starts having an emotional reaction to this wire and what it represents. And she comes out, and her concern was not
him. It was why you not working. Why you not working? You're supposed to be working. I need you to get that done because we need to go to the market. We got to go pick up some clothes for the kids. We got soccer. We got all this. She was already 3 steps, and again, she got all this stuff on her head. Now she's supposed to be worried about at that particular moment is him, but you can't because you got stuff in your head you're concerned about that you're not supposed to be. That you don't need. Let me say this: that you don't need to be. At that particular moment, you need to put everything down when you go to him and ask him, what's going on? Hey, what's going on, baby? You good?
Yeah.
And then not just be a courtesy when you're doing it, but actually mean it because he's trying to unload. The look on his face, he's trying to unload.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, this wire, man.
He said 40 years. That's a long time. 40 years. And he said 40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone. He was having a reflective moment that
she wasn't trying to
most of my life is gone.
She wasn't trying to have it with him.
Fia says, wow. Christina says, definitely. See somebody definitely get that picture swinging.
Right. Christina gonna be jumping.
Right.
Me tonight.
She coming for you. She trying to get you riled up. I think she trying to get you riled up. Fia says she didn't hear what he wasn't saying. Yeah. And this is the thing. When you have a man who makes that attempt, because he could have very easily said, nothing, I'm good.
Because that's what she used to him saying anyway.
And
then when she realized he was reaching for her, she said, well, you got that Jets hat on. Take that hat off. Quit playing. Let me get on into this house.
She said he was crying because of the Jets.
They terrible. Oh, I saw you have the Jets hat on because now I don't know what to say. You reach for me. You let me know. You trying to let me know you're drowning and you reach for me. And I don't want to get in the pool. I don't want to get out. I don't want to do that with you right now. I got stuff that I'm trying to do, and you need me. You reach, and I'm not. No, I'm emotionally not available for you right now.
So any women listening, you saw the video. How should she have handled that? What should she have done in that situation? Y'all let us know.
Well, she shouldn't have went out there.
He said stay in the house.
She should have stayed. If you didn't want nothing, don't go out there. There's nothing. Tell me I'm lying. There's nothing more irritating to me than you coming to poke me to see why I'm not doing what you want.
Oh, wow.
What?
Wow.
Stay in the house.
Wow.
But if you come out here, I may need something from you.
So do you think one reason why men are not vulnerable is because they feel like women only see them as an end to their means?
Okay. Great question. But we men try to talk but we get just what he get.
Oh, wow.
So you can't tell that man he ain't vulnerable. He gonna look at you and say, hell, did you not see me? I'm trying to talk to her.
That was an honest moment.
Not listening. It's not that either they're not conditioned to, or again, they got so many things going on in their head, they can't stop to pay attention to what we need in that particular moment. Listen, you got one job, and that's to be about him. Wow. What is so difficult about that? You got one job.
That's a great question. Why is that so hard? Why is that so difficult?
Because you got 10 things in your head.
10,000. You ain't got to go. You ain't got the capacity.
Now I'm crazy. Listen, if you make sure that thing right there is good, everything else gonna be all right. Listen to me. Everything else gonna be all right. Even if that man, like Christina said earlier, even if I ain't the man you think I should be, if you support me and do like you're supposed to do for me, everything gonna be all right.
So what happens if she has that moment with him? She sits in that moment with him.
He better from it, D. He better from it. They better from it. He can pick his head up and say, well, shoot, it wasn't a total waste. Because now he want to go jump off the bridge somewhere.
Yeah. You think about 40 years
with his Jets hat.
In a strand of wire. A strand of wire made you have what's the word? A mortal moment.
Because
your mortality.
Because we don't never understand where people are in those moments. We always can assume that we know where people are. Life and people are fragile. As fragile as that wire that he's unrolling.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we make it way more difficult than that. And it's just that simple.
Man.
And he reached for her and she turned and said, you got that Jets hat on. You quit playing.
Get that picture swinging. Get back to work.
I know, because every conversation I saw you wasn't working. That's why I came out, because you weren't working. Now you want to talk to me. I want you to get back to work.
Wow. So how do you think he treats her? Like if she tries to have a moment with him, how do you think he treats her from that point?
You know, one of the things that I think is really important, timing, and we talked about this, landing is everything. I think we need to free up, and this is really good because this is gonna help somebody. I think, man, we need to free up all those things that's keeping us, our points from landing, our conversations from landing with each other. We need to free up some things. We can't. If you dragging baggage in there when you're talking to him, you need to sit it at the door because he may need you in that. Man, timing is everything. You know, because to me, I want to know what happened to him after that because I'm concerned. I'm a guy and I'm noticing, hey man, we might need to see about him. We might need to talk to him.
Yeah, I think there was more video. I think people interviewed him after that. I didn't look and see what exactly was his response after that. If he says it shuts people down even more because they don't feel seen or heard.
But see, now hear me. This I wouldn't be me without this. But somebody listen to you.
Oh, say for every barber there's a Shirley. Huh?
Somebody listen. And that's why somebody else come in.
Get caught
because up. Because you carrying 2 million things in your head.
Mm-hmm.
That you have no business carrying.
Wow.
Your job is to see about me and my you.
Yeah. Yeah. And the see about you factor is huge, brother.
Oh, man.
The see about you factor is huge.
And I was talking to somebody. We was talking about the movie where the robot thing, and they were saying, I think we talked about last week. So every time the guy came in, the woman came home, he was with the robot. He was hitting the robot. Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But if you added it up, I'm certain it wasn't an hour that they were together. I'm sure it was more like 30, 40 minutes. So you mean out of the 24-hour day, you got so much stuff going on, and I gotta do this and I gotta do that you can't be there to satisfy that man 40 minutes a day?
Yeah.
And all of it ain't gonna be sexually. More than that is gonna be just listening to him talk. Because we don't have nobody that we can talk like that to. We don't want to talk to no fellas. The brothers all the time about that kind of stuff. I'm telling you, when I'm at a lot of times when I'm getting at my wit's end, I just talk. Hey, listen, this what's going on. This is what I'm going through.
You just let it go.
I just let it go because we can't hold it no more. I'm finna put it out here, whether you get it or not. Take what you want from it, but so it can't never be said that I didn't say nothing to you about it.
Wow. That's heavy, man. That's heavy. So do women really want men to be vulnerable? Do they really want that?
No.
Because we hear it a lot. We hear it.
I want to be
open. I want you open up and want you.
But she just showed you what she wanted, D. And we come back and ask when they show us what they want. We come back and say, the women really want that. Yeah, they want that. We should get back to work.
That's cold. That's cold, though.
Man, listen. After a while, marriage becomes routine.
Yeah.
I need that money to keep coming because I got stuff. We got this. We got that. Again, let me pick up some more stuff. I know I can pick up. I saw a sale. Macy's going out of business. This store closing. It's 80% off. It's more stuff I can pick up. It's after a while, you're like,
okay, so we don't like when women try to make us mind readers. Should we hold them to being mind readers? Should they just be able to read us and say, you know what?
You're doing it again.
You're doing it again. He going through.
You did it again. No, he just told her. She ain't got to read his mind. He just told her, D. You keep not seeing. That's what we do. You're trying to give an out to the women, and I get it, but he just told her. We just sit here and watch them with the music in the back. He just told her everything was going that he was going through, D. He just told her. She don't got to read his mind. He told her. Man, you know, I just thought, and she come away from that. I wonder what he's thinking. What's he thinking? I don't have a clue. Why don't you have a clue?
I mean, but when men get that question, what you thinking? What goes through a man's mind when he gets that question? What you thinking?
She really don't want to know what I'm thinking, or she knows. Either she really don't want to know, or she knows. And and she really don't want me to talk about it.
Do men generally feel like women even care? Like,
Nah, they don't.
why go there?
They don't care.
Because she don't care no way.
It's funny. And it's when you told me what we was gonna talk about, I was kind of concerned.
You was concerned?
I was concerned because I said I don't really know how this is gonna go well because I hadn't really studied up on it. But actually, this is my wheelhouse.
Okay.
Because it's not that women don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They just have 10 million things they're trying to pick up, and they're trying to squeeze you into.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Yeah, wow. Bro, you just said a lot. Fia says, I do. She says, but get to work too. It's a cold world, bro. It's a cold world, boy.
She told him, and then tried to keep from she does. And you take that Jets hat off. I'm like, she told you to go back to work.
Wow. And I don't want to leave, man. I say I don't want to leave men feeling hopeless or helpless. But what's the reality of the situation?
You have to, how do I say that? I want to make sure I say this right, because you have to make yourself be heard. You have to.
How do you do that?
You have to make yourself be heard, and that means saying it enough until it lands.
Say it till it lands.
Because you'll know when it lands, because the conversation will be had about it. She'll go, I didn't know you felt that way. Why didn't you say anything? Because they're not, man, marriage has become such a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a convenience. It's so convoluted.
Okay.
We don't really pay attention to it anymore. We just in a relationship.
Everybody just got so much going on.
We just roommates with all this stuff going on. And everybody, and again, listen, if you walking around with 20 million things and I'm walking around with 20 million things, something wrong. You ain't getting no peace in me neither.
Wow.
Because I can't say about you if my mind ain't clear, and you can't say about me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, everybody don't need to be picking that up.
Just thinking about it, man, and it's a sad indictment on relationships. A sad indictment that we got our thing, but they got their thing. Is communication where it all falls apart, or is it trust? Because communication requires a level of trust, right?
There should be priorities with everything that everybody has. Everything you has takes priority, right?
Yeah.
There should be. I'm heard as my position is to cover the house, the family, make sure everything's good. Mine should be hers.
Wow.
All things should be me, then the kids. Everything else is falling after that. And the problem is we've allowed the water to be muddied by some other things, and now we don't know where those lines are drawn on.
Wow. That's interesting. But we don't want to leave you with nothing, right? We don't want to leave you with nothing. So we want to kind of give you some practical steps to be more vulnerable as men, right? Practical steps. Step number 1, identify your emotional triggers. Identify your emotional triggers. Recognize when you feel the urge to shut down emotionally, and why is that happening? You want to be able to identify that when the urge to shut down is coming, and recognize why that is happening. Triggers is a word that people are abusing. People are making other people responsible for their triggers instead of them using their triggers as signals to things that are happening with me, so I better manage myself, right? My wife talked about it on her podcast, Through the Eyes of Trauma, and she really dove into emotional triggers and triggers, period, because it's one of those things, how people get something, they run with it, and by the time they get through, it's not what it intended to be from the beginning.
The water that
Right,
down.
right.
Well,
People are using triggers as weapons against other people emotionally to say, you triggered me. And now the other person is responsible. Oh, well, I gotta, Now granted, you should let people know, but using that as a means to make people feel bad, because typically if a person triggers you, they don't necessarily know. A trigger is something that's going on inside of you. Now, that may mean that you need to change how you're doing something. You may need to remove yourself, or you recognize, what was it about the event that made me feel the way I feel, so that you can clear up some things. But those triggers, you can't weaponize those against people. We don't want to weaponize them. Number two, we want to find or build a brotherhood. Find or build a brotherhood. How important is this one?
It's important, man. Let me say this: all of them are important, but it's imperative though that you have people that you can talk to. And you may not can talk to us like you can talk to your wife, but man, it's important to be able to at least get some of it off your chest. I think it's the most important one, because you got to have people to talk to. You got to have somebody to talk to.
Is it different? Is it a difference in having somebody to hear you and have somebody that feel you?
Oh, I need you to feel. If you see, because most of the time other guys can feel where you are like, oh yeah, you know what, man, yeah. And see, and the reason why it's good to talk to other people is because they can tell you, oh, so when they do that, this is what I do. This is how I get her to listen. Because most of the time, we're not in this thing by ourselves. Normally, when you talk to other people, they've been through it. They can tell you how they came out on the other side of it. That's why it's so important to be talking to other people, because we're not going through it by ourselves. We just think we are, but no, we're not. Everybody go through some of the things we go through.
Right. But having somebody that can really relate to,
really important,
to what you feeling.
Yes.
To what you feeling is man, that's huge. That's huge. So you definitely want to find or build a brotherhood. Number three, the third thing you want to do is you want to develop emotional intelligence. Develop emotional intelligence. Learn to express emotions in a way that commands respect rather than diminishing it. Right? How you manage yourself emotionally. How you manage yourself emotionally. Do you think we or even society promotes that?
Oh no, not at all. No.
When I talk about it a lot.
That's all we do though.
We talk about it a lot. I don't think people are providing solutions. I think we're giving more people more excuses than we are.
Yes.
Than we are solutions.
Yes. Yes.
And there's this one young lady. She's a therapist, and she's coming on TikTok and she's putting videos out there, and she's calling it like it is. She's talking about how we've mentally handicapped and emotionally handicapped people, about how we deal with mental health and all this type of stuff, and the excuses we're giving people now, and this was not meant to be that, and all this when it comes to all of the mental health talk.
Show.
Oh man, I'm gonna try to see if I can get on, because she is telling it like a TI is for real. All right. Number 4, gonna test the waters. Start by opening up in small things, the low risk type things. Start with that first, and then work your way up. Is it important to give feedback? Say you start with a low risk thing, and based on how they deal with it, you give feedback and say, listen, when I sat here and I told you about this is what I was going through. This is what I was telling you. You know, should we give them that feedback so they know?
We have to, because if you don't, then you can't put it all on her and say, well, when it's a blow up, it has to be a regular conversation. And again, I'll talk about it later, but yeah, man, you're absolutely right. But we got to get in the habit.
So if I tell you and I don't get the response, but I assume you don't care, without giving you the opportunity to see what was on your mind. Now, when I tell you, and if I get the same thing, can I say now you don't care?
Well, first of all, we need to assume that they got 20 million things that they carry. It's funny, but I'm so serious.
Yeah.
Because my wife would tell you, I just got so many things. I'm like, why? Because you don't need to be doing that. If you got to do that because you think you need to cover me, I'm going to ask you again, please stop.
Which brings up a good question before we go any further. Should women or do women carry the space for men emotionally so that they can be available? Because to your point, you say women are doing a lot, they got a lot going on. But do they got
that much going on? They need to sit down somewhere. Listen, I do not mind women having 20 million things going on. But when daddy says that he needs something from you, that is the priority. That is the engine. That's the engine that make the thing go. How you not gonna put all in it and think that thing gonna keep running? It's not. It's gonna lock up on you. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Listen, I know I joke a lot about women's place and the kitchen and barefoot and get in there and fix me. I joke about, and most of it is jokes, but I ain't never been more serious about nothing that I am this. Wow. We need to make sure that man is good by any means necessary. Put down if you carrying enough stuff, too much stuff where you can't see by that man, something wrong.
Wow. Yeah. Number 5, we want to redefine strength. Redefine strength. True strength includes emotional mastery, not just suppression, right? So just shoving it down and pushing forward ain't always the solution. Sometimes you do have to tough through some things, but don't think it's all about holding it in. Now, interesting enough, I heard a psychologist say this, and he said venting can work against you because it's the pressure that motivates you to do something about the thing. But if you talk about the thing, you release it.
Yeah. But the problem with venting, with me, it turns into fussing. And my wife turns the knob off when I start fussing, because now I do that. I vent all the time. And the venting is to release some of the pressure. And if you keep doing it, they don't think, how do I know if like we say, if you're talking all the time, how I know when you're serious? Because you're talking all the time.
Yeah. I think the emotional mastery is being more clear about your tolerance for things that you typically would hold in. Because it's one thing to hold stuff. It's another thing to allow stuff to continuously be dumped on you. And you got to say, this is what we're not doing. What we're not doing is this. You're not doing that, because I'm not going to even deal with what's going to come behind all of this. So having that fortitude, testicular fortitude to say, no, that's what we're not doing. That's what we're not doing. That's what we're not doing. Because sometimes getting into the thing of being more pleasing or people pleasing can set you up for emotional baggage. Set you up for that. So emotional mastery sometimes is about opening your mouth and telling people, we not doing that. Can't do that.
You can't be foreign to talking about what's going on with you. It can't be something that, where that come from? We don't never do. It should be something that's actually regular. I need to know what's going on with you, like you need to know what's going on with me. And too many times we're foreign to it is the reason why she didn't pay attention to it, because that's just something he always do. I know when he put his Jets hat on, he feeling some kind of way because they so terrible.
Christina says, well, if you haven't relieved the burden, you get what you get. If you haven't relieved the burden, you get what you get. So no compassion, no concern.
People only
nothing.
People only want compassion when it comes to them. We don't want it when it comes to other people.
Wow. Wow. Final thoughts, man.
Well, my
I'm
final
leaving.
thought is this. I'm gonna repeat what I said a few minutes ago. Listen, it can't be out of the norm. You should be guys. You should be talking to your mates, spouses about what's going on with you. She should not be in the door. Because what happens is they get used to us not talking and they don't expect nothing from us. And then when we do it, they looking at us like, oh, where this come from? You don't never talk to me. It shouldn't be that way. Let's start talking. Talk until it lands. And you'll know it lands because she'll let you know that it landed and she'll be talking back. That's my final thought.
Listen, it's tough to go through and not feel like anybody is there for you. Even people that's closest to you. Proximity doesn't necessarily mean that you feel like the person is there for you. Just because they're there with you, are they there for you? A lot of times we're going through things, women are going through things, men are going through things, and because we're not talking about it, stuff is just building up. Then people act out in ways that are detrimental to the relationship. When if I express myself, it may help. It may help. And it can be risky. It can be risky. First of all, know the person you with. Know the person you with. Get to know the person you with. For those of you that haven't gotten to know about it, make sure you are really thinking about these things when you're choosing somebody. Those of us who are in marriages and relationships, it needs to happen in a space where it's not tense. You can really talk. You can really open up. You can really, and just deal with it from a non-emotional place. You can talk about the need for opening up or the need for communication. Hey, when I do this or when I say this, what I'm really saying is this. So next time something happens, they can remember what you said. Is like, oh, okay, that means I need to check on it. This behavior means I need to check on them. So just about being smarter and being more concerned about the person you with so you can read the cues. Right? But we all need somewhere that's a safe space. And that's my final thought. So
if I choke you in a non-sexual way, that means I'm really serious about what I'm talking about.
I think something going on with it.
I'm turning blue.
Listen, don't forget, share this out, subscribe, do all of that stuff. We appreciate everybody. Appreciate all the comments. Appreciate everybody that's watching, listening. And don't forget, whenever you listen to this, drop your comments too. We want to hear from you. We're still going to be looking at it. All right. But we're going to move on out the way. We're going to holler at y'all next week. Make sure you come back for more Man Talk Mondays.
Y'all be blessed.
Peace out.